Hash here, coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Glad to have you here. Sending some good vibes your way today, especially if you need it out there. I'll tell you what, man, it is really incredibly, unbelievably hot where I live. And the one day that I don't take my cat out of the room when I'm recording, here she is. Say hi to Fernie, everybody. Say hi. Be right back. I figured I could leave her in the office because the AC is a little bit better here, because as I was saying, it is so freaking hot right now. It's 91 degrees Fahrenheit right here in Massachusetts, and boy, that is really hot for this time of year. Anyway, guys, I don't know why I'm talking about the weather. I apologize for doing that to you guys, but today we're gonna rank off the 20 worst legendary champions in the game. Oh my word. I was looking at a few tier lists online to see like if I was missing anybody, right? And boy, I have to say, there is a massive difference of opinion between my bottom 20 and the list that I was looking at out there. So I imagine a lot of you guys would disagree with what I have to say as well. And to me, that always makes for the best kind of videos. Let's spur on some conversation. So if you disagree with any of these champions, go ahead and let me have it in the comments below, guys. Let's go from 20 to 1. 1 being the worst legendary in the game, 20 being, well, the 20th worst legendary in the game. And at the spot of number 20 is going to be my man, a champion I actually like, Nadar the Headhunter.
But we're supposed to be friends forever.
It's better to make sacrifices.
Nadar the Headhunter is actually a really cool champion. He's sacrificing HP on all of his abilities. He's got an AoE over here. He's killing himself just left, right, and center. And then he's reviving himself as long as he's the only one alive as well. The cool thing about Nadar is you put him in a frenzy set, you can have a lot of fun, right? Have a lot of fun. He's great for faction wars, just DPS, right? The bad thing about Nadar is, like, what else is he used for? Like, where is he better than replacement in the entire game? And there's nowhere, to my knowledge, you know? So, he's kind of cool in terms of the damage, but he's kind of useless in terms of, well, everything else in the game.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
Not better than a value over replacement. This one, the next one, number 19, I know a lot of you guys are going to take issue with, because I actually get a lot of requests for this champion on a guide on her on the channel, guys. So don't hate me, and she's not a dark elf either, Ash. It's Narma the Returned. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to do this to you, Narma fan club out there, but man, I am not a massive fan of Narma the Returned. She has increased the duration of 3 random debuffs, which is pretty cool in the A1. She's placing the decrease attack and a heal, okay, on the A2. On the A3, she's got 3 poisons and poison sensitivity on a 4-turn cooldown, man. I don't know. She wasn't released that long ago into the game, but she was released after kind of the advent of unkillable teams really took over this game. So it was a bad timing on her part, right? If she was released 4 years ago, dude, people would love her. One of the most used champions in the game for Clan Boss. But nowadays, I feel like people can get by with like a Frozen Banshee, even a Dark Kale, and then eventually maybe upgrade to, you know, like a Supreme Kale or something like that, right? Eventually get people who have these abilities not on a 4-turn cooldown, bring more poisons to the table, etc. So, you know, you definitely have some use cases. You could definitely use her as a poison damage dealer in Clan Boss or in Dragon, but I just think there's so many other better options out there in the game that she's really kind of went down for me in terms of overall value. Sorry to do that to you, Narma fans out there. Number 18, guys, is going to be Mr. Gomlock Scarhide. We're going to see a lot of champions on the list, by the way, guys, that are from Doom Tower, because all the Doom Tower hard champions suck! Blarium, how about you do something about that, man? How about you do something about it, Blarium? Come on, man, come on!
I'm on it.
Okay, 30 minutes or less, please come back. Save the receipts. Hey, what?
Let's see if any of these will work.
Hey, Dwight.
We have a leech on the A1. We have a single hitter here with some stilling, some turn meter on the A2. On the A3, an AoE 4-turn cooldown, decreased defense, and if we have full HP, places a weaken. First of all, no one cares about a decreased defense on a 4-turn cooldown anymore. You know, if I wanted that, I'd go with Taro, right? If I wanted some mediocre, crappy damage and a decreased defense and maybe a weaken, then maybe I'd go with Gomlock. Sure, he does have the turn meter steal, so, you know, maybe you can get back to this a little bit quicker on the A3, but it's not enough for me. He doesn't feel legendary to me. He feels like he feels like an epic champion. A mediocre epic champion is what he feels like. So he's coming in at number 18. Number 17 on the list, guys, is going to be my man, Raph Matab. Raph Matab, I know he's got a few fans out there as well. See, some of these champions, I forget even what, I use them so little, I forget which faction they are, but I actually have used Raph Matab quite a bit because I did this with a couple of these champions on the list, and I'll point them out as I get to them, probably like 4 or 5. In the past, I've decided to make videos. I've covered a lot of these champions about are they really as bad as people say they are, right? And Raph Matab was one of those champions that I maxed out. I tried to use him in a bunch of areas, and then I came to the conclusion, yes, he's pretty much as bad as people say, so I didn't end up making the video. I want to share that, I want to share those type of videos when it's a pleasant surprise, not when they really do suck. It's like, yes, they suck.
Bye, have a great time.
Nah, I'm just joking. Raph Matab is not trash. He's not a top 10 worst champion. He's top 20, okay? He's got increased resistance, he's got reflect damage, he's got a provoke on a 3-turn cooldown. Problem is like there's a lot of provokers who are epic that I'd rather have over Raph Matab, and even though increased resistance, albeit on a 4-turn cooldown, is a rare ability, it's not the most strong ability out there. I have never met anybody either in my clan or any of my commenters, but I'm sure somebody will let me know now, who really runs a reliable, viable, increased resistance strategy team anywhere in the game. But you guys go ahead and let me know if you're one of those people. Not to say you can't benefit from it, I'm just saying that there's probably way better ways anywhere that you're going to use it. Sure, you can say, yeah, look at this, Ash. I built, increased resistance on this team and it's working great. Yeah, but maybe it'd be easier just to slap a resistance banner on those champions that you want to have high resistance on and run somebody else instead. Anyway, he's not a totally trash champion. He's got the provoke. Not bad, I guess. But that's about it. Doesn't blow me away. Number 16 is going to be the most dirty pay-to-win champion in the game. I did make a whole video on her, and she is a Sylvan Watcher, and I hate her, man. I hate Circia the Shard. How do you get this champion? By spending like $1 billion in the game.
What about your kidneys?
I'm being hyperbolic here, but she's the one that you get from the Plarium points, right? And boy, oh boy, she is awful, man, in my opinion. Just by the time that you get her, there's so many better burners out there in the game. There's so many better burners. She's got an AoE burn on a 4-turn cooldown. Who cares? Who cares? A decreased turn meter? That's it? That's all she's got? Yeah, she's a decent option. I know some of you, if she's not that bad in Spider Ash, you could use her Spider. Yeah, you could. But by the time you spend $1 billion in this game to get her, to spend money or play for 20 years. That's how you get her, right? You're going to have a million better. Give me Akoth the frickin' Seared instead of Circia the Shard. Maybe I'm being a little bit exaggeratory, but I don't like her. I hate her base stats. You can't even build her to solo content in the game because she doesn't have enough HP, really, on the base HP. So she doesn't have any multiplier. She's not bringing any damage. I just don't like her. You get a small chance of activating the burn on the A1 on each hit, granted. But just give me a chance. Give me a champion. Same thing with the passive here. But just give me a, actually, you're increasing the duration, my bad, and you're activating a small chance on the passive. But just give me a champion like Walking Tombdrang. Even worse epics out there. I'm not a fan, can you tell? All right, number 15, guys. Number 15, a champion who actually just got a little buff, but he still makes my list, and it's Draco the Gaunt. So the cool thing about Draco the Gaunt is he's fast, 107 base speed, doesn't have a lot of defense, but he has a decent amount of HP. He's bringing increased attack, increased defense for 2 turns, which is nice. And then he has a shield on a 4-turn cooldown, 15% of this champion's max HP. I don't know, is it a trash kit? No. Is it an epic kit? Yeah. To me, it feels like, a decent epic. Like, I'm not comparing him directly, but like a Gizcard the Sagailt. Like, to me, that's the kind of champion I'm getting here. And for legendaries, I want them to feel legendary. All right, number 14 is going to be another Doom Tower champion. Some people might be surprised that I have her on my list. It's Thea the Tomb Angel. Dude, I hate Thea the Tomb Angel.
My man!
The thing is this Hex Reaper ability, it should be one of the biggest nukes in the game. On paper, it is. But boy, oh boy, you need to stack Hex on everybody, and even then, she's not putting out as much damage as Seer or any burner. Like, it's supposed to be raw damage. Even Ethos, even Abyss out damages her. On paper, this reads like it should be OP, but it's not. She's got a perfect veil, an extra turn, an AoE attack, and then she's placing Hex on the A1 that cannot be resisted. I just think she needs another buff, personally. I think that they need to make her a little bit more viable. I don't know what they need to do, with this damage increases. I don't know what they need to fix about her kit, but it's just not there for me. And all she's bringing to the table is just really damage and a little bit of control on the True Fear on the passive. That's not enough. Not enough for this champion. The damage does not make up for the lack of everything else that she's bringing, in my opinion. Number 13. Number 13. Lost count there for a second. It's going to be our old pal, Crowhawk the Bloodied. Crowhawk, again, Lord of War. They went in and buffed him, man. This used to be a 6-turn, book it down to a 5. Now it's a 5, book it down to 4. You've got a steal target's turn meter. Okay. Not a bad ability, to be fair. You could definitely get some utility out of it. You have each critical hit fills the champion's turn meter on the A2, and you got decreased speed on the A1. That's it, though. I mean, like, to me, it's a really nice upgrade from Shield Guard, an uncommon champion, right? I mean, you got champions like Man-Eater, who have an insane kit, who have a full turn meter steal on a 3-turn cooldown. That's an epic champion. You have literally Lifeguard, an uncommon champion, has this ability on 3-turn cooldown, but he's defense-based. He's easier to keep alive than Crowhawk the Bloodied. So I think that Crowhawk needs a buff. All right, coming in at number 12 is going to be a champion that I really tried to talk myself into. I was like, wait a second here. Maybe not you guys, but I can get this guy to work. I can get Gamaran to work. There's something special here. And then there was nothing special wherever I used him. I couldn't get him to work. Block active skills. He's got an AoE chance of stealing a buff from each enemy and a buff spread. Pretty cool ability on paper, but again, practicality. Most of the time you bring in a buff, you want to bring it for everybody anyway, right? On the A3, Dread Invocation. On a 4-turn cooldown, you can target a dead person, champion, and place a block revive on them, and then deal 20% of their damage as an attack. Or you can place a True Fear, heal all allies by 20% of the target's max HP. True Fear cannot be resisted. That's it on a 4-turn cooldown. It's not enough, man. It's not enough. I'd rather kill everybody and block revive instead of place it on someone who's already dead, you know what I'm saying? But the Soul Charge passive, this is the one that I was like, wait a second here, this could be something, right? Revives a random ally 30% HP, 30% turn meter each time an enemy is killed. Won't work if this reflect damage, bomb, HP burn, or poison, but still. So each time an enemy is killed, we revive an ally. But the thing is, it's cool that it's on a 1-turn cooldown, and it sounds like it should be good. But the problem is 30% HP and 30% turn meter. I'd rather just wait for my reviver to revive them, because probably it's way better revive than that is. They're probably just going to die right away again, which I guess you could argue then he'll revive them again. But at the same time, like, I think I'd rather just have a regular reviver on my team. It reads, again, a little bit better than it was in practicality when I tried this champion out. All right, coming in at number 11. Number 11 on our top 20 worst legendaries list is going to be another champion they gave a buff to. It just wasn't big enough, and Gaius. So Gaius is, he's pretty fast, he's pretty tanky, that's good at least. On his A2, he attacks one enemy, put their skills on cooldown, whatever. On the Ghost Rage and AoE attack, this is a decent ability, right? 100% chance of removing 2 buffs, 100% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 20%, plus another 10% for every buff removed. The thing is like, there's so many better abilities in this. It's on a 4-turn cooldown as well, right? I mean, Ghost Rage is not bad. It's not a bad ability, don't get me wrong. But again, I mean, there's no way he's seeing anything anywhere close to endgame. Like, Mighty Uko's A2 is way better than this. Obviously, Warlord, I mean, he's fully depleting turn meter and putting all their skills on cooldown as well. Of course, I'm comparing him to some of the better champions in the game. And again, I want to be clear here. It's not an awful ability. It's just not game-changing enough to really justify, in my opinion, using this champion pretty much anywhere, you know? I guess you could have some fun in the arena with this, but still, I don't know. It doesn't do any damage either. He's an HP-based champion with not great multipliers, so Gaius still makes the list, just outside of the top 10 at number 11. At number 10, guys, is going to be a newbie. It's very nice of Plarium to continue releasing crappy legendary champions. Thank you so much, Plarium. You're welcome. We have Alton of the Shell. So this guy, when he was released, I was like, oh, it sounds like a cool name. Maybe it's like a Krisk wannabe, you know? The Shell, you know? Instead, it kind of reminds me of like a spider or a bee, kind of larvae type thing. He's got decreased defense on the A1. He's got a remove all debuffs from this champion, heals this champion, shield on this champion. Who cares, man? This what a selfish SOB, huh? And then on the A3, 4-turn cooldown and AoE sleep. That's it. That's it, huh? No buff removal, like Kaimar's A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. Nothing. All right, this passive better be good. Has a 15% chance of decreasing the cooldown of one of this champion skills by 1 turn if they're healed by a continuous heal. Oh, so we get to do more of nothing? Great. Awesome. What are the reviews on this dude? Yeah. I heard his multipliers are not that bad, so I guess he can deal a little bit of damage, you know? But I don't know, man. He does not impress. Okay, I'll stop staring at him, hoping he's going to impress me in some way. I'm like, I don't know, guys.
That's it? I'm still here!
We have Gerda Bogbrew. Gerda. Oh, I love Gerda. I have a soft spot in my heart for Miss Gerda. How you doing? How you doing, Gerda? Oh, you shouldn't. Oh, easy, Gerda. Frisky today. She is a support champion from the Ogren tribes. Force Affinity. She's a daily login reward after like 600 days, 400, 500. I always butcher it, so don't quote me on that. But eventually you'll get her. You play for 4 years. I guarantee you'll get your hands on Gerda Bogbrew, the one and only. Rot limb decoction. Come on, obviously. Decoction. Hello. Attacks all enemies, place a weaken. Place 2 poisons on all enemies without weakens. Okay. So if you don't land the weaken, you land a couple poisons? I don't get it, man. I guess whatever, you know? Okay, cool. If it gets resisted, then we place poisons. And then we have a 100% chance when booked of removing a random buff from all enemies, and then placing 2 more poisons on all enemies, removing 2 debuffs from all allies. So you get kind of like a little bit of a mini Ugo. Really, whenever an enemy receives a buff, the turn meter is decreased by 3%. I kind of like this Malign Tendrils ability. I can't lie to you guys. It's weird. She's another one of those champions that it doesn't read that awful, her kit, but she's one that I absolutely tried to actually run in a bunch of areas. I think the biggest thing to know about this champion, if you are planning on investing her, is this A2 is like one of the weakest multipliers out there. So and I say this because she's bringing she's bringing poisons potentially on 2 abilities. So you think, okay, maybe she can actually deal a little bit of damage as a support debuffer type thing, a little bit of a cleanse in there too, but she can't deal barely any damage. So it just doesn't translate. I think she needs a buff, obviously. Coming in at number 8, guys, is going to be a barbarian by the name of Rorick Wormbane. I am a Rorick hater, guys. He's an attack-based champion. He's got a chance at landing a stun on the A1. He's got a chance at landing a stun on all other enemies if we fully deplete the initial target's turn meter on the A2, which honestly isn't that bad of an ability, but it's very epic-like to me. We have Scale Breaker, attacks 1 enemy, ignore 50% of defense. Always uses this skill instead when counter-attacking. And then he's immune to stun. That's it. That's it, man. Very one-dimensional champion. Please, give him a buff, Plarium. Give Rorick Wormbane a buff. Doesn't even hit that hard on this ability, which you'd think, ignoring 50% defense, you'd be basically solo one-shotting anybody. Unfortunately, not the case. Number 7 is going to be a champion that I did a full guide on. It's Fortis, or Fortus? Fortus sounds better. Oh, man, they love him in the reviews here, guys. He's got a fear on the A1. On the A2, an AoE True Fear. Cannot be resisted by targets under fear. Dude, why not just make it can't be resisted? Straight up. It's not that big of an OP ability, right? Astral Terrors is a secret ability. I don't really like secret abilities unless it's Morty Macabre on my team, not the opponent's. This skill has a 40% chance to be unlocked for 1 turn whenever a Fear or True Fear debuff is placed on an enemy. You can set this up too with another Fear or True Fear champion going ahead of him. We ran Elder Skarg in the video that we did with him. The problem is we're ignoring 30% of each target's defense against targets with Fear or True Fear debuffs. This attack is always critical under targets with Fear or True Fear debuffs. The damage increases by 10% each time a Fear or True Fear is placed on an enemy. So the problem here is I don't think this is being factored in like either correctly or at all. I'll just be blunt. The problem with this champion is a really interesting and cool kit. I like the whole Yeah, I mean, increase the chance of enemy skills failing by 15% when those enemies are fear or true fear. So it brings up to 65%, which is really, really cool. Prevents his death as well. Like, the kit doesn't read awfully, but there's one massive problem. You can see if you check out the video I did on him. Astral Terrorist doesn't deal that much damage. So, like, you're doing all this setup for, like, this awful, awful payoff at the end, right? Not a fan. All right, coming in, this might be the one that I get the most hate for. I don't know, but you know me, man. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to talk smack about one of your most beloved champions, Hackorn Smash Lord at number 6. I've been talking smack about this dude forever. I love Hackorn Smash Lord's kit, except for one massive thing. Number 1, he's got a stun on the A1. Okay, cool. On the A3, he's sacrificing his HP, attacking all enemies, even if he kills himself, and the attack is always normal on a 4-turn cooldown. See, it's not enough damage. It's not doing much of damage, you know? It's not like we're ignoring defense or anything with that. It's just always a normal hit. Okay, cool. Rallowing Bellow is a really good ability, right? Finally, a good ability in his kit. Removes all debuffs, plays a block debuffs, heals all allies, an extra heal. Basically, it's the same as, it's very similar to what's his face, Mausoleum Mage. Mausoleum Mage does have block debuffs, but it's on his A2, not his cleanse. But the rest of it reads similarly, right? But that's it. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, man. There's enough cleansers out there in the game. Heck, there's even rare cleansers. I'll give you Reliquary Tender with a 3-turn cleanse cooldown with a heal on it, continuous heal on that ability. A 4-turn cleanse, even with a heal on it, it's not enough anymore, man. This has been absolutely power crept, man. Bring it down to a 3-turn Plarium, and then Hackorn Smash Lord is still a beast. Now, with all that said, you can still use this dude. I mean, like, he's a champion who's been power crept, who still has utility, don't get me wrong, right? Anywhere you need a cleanser, especially a Magic Affinity cleanser, you can use him. However, I really want a buff to this dude. Maybe I'm being more adamant about it because I really don't know why Plarium does not give him the courtesy 3-turn cooldown on this ability. He could be a really serviceable champion, but bring that down. Bring that down to a 3-turn cooldown. Even if you have to make the block debuffs a 1-turn on the buff, I still think it'd be better to have it on a 3-turn cooldown personally. All right, guys, and next up, number 5. We're reaching the top 5, and you know who's going to be there already. I hold my Void legendaries to a higher standard than some of you guys do. Because Angar, everybody hates it. Everybody hates it. I even use the dad joke of it makes me very Angar. I'm sorry, guys. He's so vanilla for a Void legendary. An extra hit if they have Provoke on the A1. He's a mediocre hitting champion. He doesn't hit that hard. Infuriate, 3-turn cooldown with a Provoke for 1 turn. Plays a counterattack on this champion. That's kind of cool, I guess. But that's it, huh? Passive, Bravado. Sorry for the big delay. I'm just trying to think to myself, what can I say good about this dude? If an enemy with a Provoke debuff attacks, has a 40, make it a 50% chance to placing a Provoke on the attacker for 1 turn. Okay. I mean, give me War Chief any day for a Provoker, right? It's funny, I looked at some websites, and a couple of them, actually all of them, had Angar ranked way higher than War Chief. And I can't for the life of me figure out why, really. At the most, I'll give you that they're on the same tier. But especially being Void, man, I want more out of Angar. I want more than just a Provoke and a chance of giving another 1-turn Provoke, you know? Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Number 4 worst legendary in the game is none other than Queen Ava. Queen Ava, she's got a block revival ability, which is not bad. Only problem is it doesn't do that much damage. Okay, so what good is block revive if it doesn't do that much damage? Energy drain is cool because it resets this ability if you kill somebody, basically making her a very viable campaign farmer. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for, out of your legendary champion, if you're looking for a campaign farmer, aka a Saurus uncommon champion, a Fellhound rare champion, then yeah, you got Queen Ava. That's the only nice thing I think that you can say about her, unless you're looking for a little bit of damage in Faction Wars. That's about it. Queen Ava for a 17 1700 almost base attack. It's a sneaky move, Plarium. The multipliers are just not there. Just not there. So campaign farming, and that's it. I would love to see a buff really to all these top 10 champions, but Queen Ava especially, because she's an OG in the game, and she looks actually really cool. I like the aesthetic on Queen Ava. All right, here we go. Number 3. Drum roll, please, for the top 3. There he is. I know you thought I forgot him. Is Jing Wong. Legendary HP-based champion. Avoid legendary. Transfers all debuffs from this champion to the target on the A1, on the A2. Attacks 1 target, 2-turn cooldown. That's cool. Chance of increasing the duration of the debuffs. Block active skills for 3 turns. Wait. If the target's under decreased accuracy or decreased crit damage? Dude, trust me. Block active skills for 3 turns is not enough to make it a conditional debuff. Just give him the debuff, right? On the A3, I mean, I guess the only cool thing you can say about it is hypothetically, if he has a ton of accuracy and the enemy team doesn't have a cleanser, doesn't have stone skin, doesn't have block debuffs, you could potentially, theoretically, keep block active skills up on a target and neutralize them all the time. But the only problem is there's a million better champions that bring skills on cooldown and block active skills on everybody, etc., etc. Power Flare must be really good, right? Attacks all enemies 2 times. First hit, decrease accuracy. Second hit, decrease crit damage. Also a strengthen on this champion on a 4-turn cooldown. Wow. So we get a non-hard hitting ability on a 4-turn cooldown where we get a shot at placing decreased accuracy and decreased crit damage. Definitely not game changers, not awful debuffs, but they're not game changers. And then the passive, this passive is so cool if it was on a 1-turn cooldown or a 2-turn cooldown, but it's on a 6-turn, booked down to 4. The champion's immune to the CC debuffs at the end of an enemy or ally turn, removes all CC debuffs from all allies, and places a block debuffs on 1 turn on all allies who have debuffs removed. I don't know, man. That is a really nasty passive. The problem is you use it once and it's like a cleanse, basically, right? It's like a Pythion 1 skill and then it's done for 4 turns. And then you're stuck with an AoE 4-turn decrease accuracy, decrease crit damage. He's, I would love to see a little bit of a reduction on this passive. I think that would make him viable for sure. I would also love to see the if decrease accuracy and crit damage, or I would love to see these placing better debuffs, right? If they make this decreased defense and weaken on a 4-turn cooldown, it's still not going to be anything to write home about, but at least you're talking, right? At least he can be kind of an interesting go second arena nuker or something like that, especially with that passive. But what is this dude supposed to be? What is he supposed to be? Where is he supposed to be used? I don't know. Number 2 worst champion in the game, guys, is going to be a little dwarf you may have never heard of. His name is Granjar. He's got the hands of flame, and this dude really, really sucks. On the A1, he's got a chance of increasing the duration of HP burn. Plarium somewhere out there, Plarium must have the 30% chance of increasing the duration a la Circia the Shard as like, okay, let's put this on the worst legendary champions in the game, right? HP-based champion. Shatter Falsity. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times. First hit has a chance of removing block debuffs. The second hit has a chance of removing 1 buff except block debuffs. Whoa, exciting on 1 enemy. Wow. Come on, man. How about both hits have a chance of removing all buffs? How about that? It's a single target ability on a champion that takes 100 years to get. Fires Evolved. Attacks all enemies on a 4-turn cooldown. We get to place an HP burn. Also fills the turn meter by 5% for every HP burn debuff the enemy team had before the attack. Cool. Maybe if I get a lot of HP, maybe if I get a lot of turn meter, I can get this down to a 3-turn cooldown, and it would be a crappy champion. This champion will not receive any damage from HP burn debuffs. Instead, they'll heal him. Okay? Whenever an enemy attempt, that's on a 3-turn cooldown, by the way, on the active. Whenever this part is, I should say. Whenever an enemy attempts to place a freeze debuff on this champion, instantly removes it and places it on the attacker. Also places a HP burn on the attacker, and the burn can't be resisted. So eat that, Tormund. 1 out of every 3 turns, we're going to remove it. I mean, Dark Elhain has a billion times better passive than that, you know? This is a really, really bad champion, in my opinion. All right, number 1, the worst champion, the worst legendary in Raid Shadow Legends is none other than Chromax Moonblood. Ooh, this champion stinks. We got a decrease attack on the A1. On the A2, we attack one enemy. Hey, on a 3-turn cooldown, we got a 100% chance if we waste our books on this champion at placing block buffs for 2 turns and a turn meter fill just himself for 30%. On the A3, this better be really good for crappy A1 and crappy A2. Attacks all enemies on Blood Moon. 4-turn cooldown. We get a chance of placing a provoke and a decrease accuracy. Wow, a 4-turn provoke. A 4-turn provoke. When attacked, each hit has a chance of placing hex. So like a Thylesia type move. That's it. A 4-turn provoke on a champion again who need this. These are the worst ratings. I agree, whoever rated this champion. Dude, I just want to be very clear here. It takes a long time of farming Doom Tower hard to get your hands on this champion. Nobody, and I mean nobody, who gets their hands on this champion is going to not already have a 3-turn provoker. And to bump a provoke to a 4-turn cooldown and adding decreased accuracy as the justification for a 4-turn cooldown is not worth it. It's not worth it. Give me an A1 on Geomancer or something. A block buffs. A block buffs on a single target. That's all this dude is doing, man. This is a really, really bad champion, guys. So there you go. Those are my top 20 worst legendaries in Raid Shadow Legends, guys. This was a viewer request. Let me go ahead and give him a shout out here. All right, so shout out to Sandy Jones. And for the 3 of you left watching right now, I will go ahead and show you. I mentioned tier lists. I want to give a shout out to Hell Hades. I really enjoy his tier list. I like looking, even if I don't agree with everything, I like looking at other people's opinions as well. Here's his bottom 20 legendary champions, right? We get Queen Ava as the worst champion in the game. Or actually, it's like a 4-way tie. Queen Ava, Gerda Bogbrew, Jinro the Stork, who I actually have, and I actually like Jinro the Stork. I think he's like mediocre. Interesting kit, weird kit, but we made a whole video about him. Gaius, he has War Chief, not on my list. War Mother, not on my list. Suzerain Catan, not on my list. Skull Lord Vargal, dude, I love Skull Lord, not on my list. Star Taurus is not on my list. Shamrock not on my list. Samar Gemkur's not on my list. Saito not on my list. Rorick, Rafmatab, Opening Clanfather not on my list. Norog not on my list. See what I'm talking about, guys? Nari the Lucky, Mountain King, Manaya, Lord Shazar. I think it kind of cuts off around there. So yeah, man. I mean, see what I'm talking about? That really beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that's the cool thing about Raid Shadow Legends is where everybody can have their own opinions on champions and find ways even to use a lot of the champions on today's list. Guys, let me know what your list would be. You know, who do you disagree with and who do you think belongs on the list that I did not mention? Talk some smack about some champions out there, guys. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.